Welcome back, Ghoster Coasters. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Cedar Point, America's rock and roller coast, located in Sandusky, Ohio, features arguably the best lineup of roller coasters in the world. From the first Hyper, Giga, and Strata coasters to groundbreakers like Maverick, CP is known for pushing the boundaries on extraordinary. But what if we told you that even with the best lineup, CP still has some holes in the lineup to fill? Today, we'll go over some rides that CP is missing or could use to fill in some of the gaps in their lineup. So let's get into it.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, and I'm pretty excited to get into this one. First and foremost, we're going to go ahead and get into the flat rides at Cedar Point because their sister park has tons of better ones. Now, I'm going to let you go ahead and get into this a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, they definitely lack in the new flats. And like you said, their sister park to the north of us, Canada's Wonderland. From Lumberjacks, Riptide, Shockwave, Skyhawk, Timbers, and even Tundra Twister.
Tundra Twister.
CP does not have the same extensive collection of flats that other parks do. We believe CP could deliver with a new thrill ride geared towards the older crowds, like Tundra Twister.
Oh, yeah.
It would do wonders for the park, offering a unique experience not found nearby in most of the states.
Yeah, not in any of the states.
yeah,
it's
actually-
in Canada, and then, that would be a wonderful ride to have there. But
My apologies. I always think of Canada as the states because we're so close.
Right. Now, moving on to a more controversial one is the single rail. And yes, I do believe Cedar Point is lacking a single rail, and there are a few reasons.
They
I've
are.
heard the capacity issues with a single rail going to a major park, but I'm going to go ahead and let you go first here.
Well, with CP having about 3.4 million guests per year on average.
And Six Flags Great Adventure having 2.9 million per year on average, it doesn't really make sense why Cedar Point couldn't have one, but Six Flags Great Adventure can. Now, I know Six Flags Great Adventure is probably open a little bit longer, and yes, that does make a little sense there, but I don't understand the whole, it wouldn't, it couldn't fit here, couldn't do that. Kings Island could use one as well. But
Yeah.
moving on.
Well, the ride offers a compact ride layout capable of fitting in many small plots, which checks a huge box for the landlocked Cedar Point.
Yeah, definitely a unique ride layout and experience that you're not going to really find anywhere nearby. You got to travel pretty far to find single rails,
Right.
so it's another one.
Well, they could also go for a T-Rex model if they are able to sell one and it becomes a thing. As for now, we're looking at Raptor Track, but they could sign CP up for the next first T-Rex if they wanted.
Definitely sign me up. And obviously, Cedar Fair has worked with them in the past. They have built Railblazer at California's Great America, so there is that. And then, of course, Six Flags as well with Jersey Devil and Wonder Woman, Golden Lasso Coaster, so it is there. Moving on. This is a crazy one here, guys. We're going to go ahead and tell you that Cedar Point needs another family attraction. Now, what could that be?
Like Skyline Attractions?
Yeah, that would be an awesome one for the park. I mean, first and foremost, it offers a 40-inch height requirement for both the Trail Runner and the Pescetti Bowl models. So, checks off two boxes right there off the rip.
Family. Yep, and it's low maintenance, meaning the cost of upkeep remains low and offers an affordable ride for the long haul.
Yeah, that goes super far with Cedar Point, obviously, and their maintenance teams. It also offers a thrill for families. It is kind of thrilling for families. I mean, it's not quite an enthusiast coaster per se, but it is a thrilling ride nonetheless, and something that people would find really, really exciting.
Oh, absolutely. And they also offer custom layouts as well. Perfect for, say, Forbidden Frontier on Adventure Island.
Yeah.
Or even a Cedar Creek Mine Ride replacement.
Yeah, you could go with either one of those, and I would be pretty much thrilled. I mean, Cedar Creek Mine Ride is a little outdated and whatnot. The other cool thing about these is the unique lighting packages that they offer. So taking over like the Cedar Creek Mine Ride plot would light that midway up right there leading up to Steel Vengeance and Maverick as you're coming up by Gemini there. That would be incredible. Or if they did it on the island as well, which it would offer its own unique experience in and of itself because you're kind of just secluded over there.
Yeah.
And, they did say you don't have to have terrain for these trail runners, that they can build on flat ground. It doesn't really matter. So just saying, Cedar Point, you're not a terrain park, but you still can get the trail runner terrain coaster.
Exactly.
It'd be awesome. It'd check a lot of boxes, and I think even the enthusiasts would be pretty excited about that.
Oh, for sure.
And another thing is that they, Skyline Attractions specifically, worked with GCI to manufacture the Titan track, and this is similar. It's a no-weld track. It's kind of the same. It's not quite the same as they've posted on their website. They are similar, but they're not exactly. And I think another element to these two, if you did the Pescetti Bowls and you did a racing one for families, it'd be like the first step to Gemini.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome for the park. I think it would do wonders at Cedar Point. Obviously, these lighting packages, I can't get over these lighting packages on them.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I think that's what makes the coaster better than the coaster itself, guys.
To be honest with you, yeah, for sure.
So what else is needed at the good old Cedar Point?
Dark rides.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, with Cedar Point not having any major dark rides, and the recent merger with Six Flags, who has tons of dark rides and brings new IPs to the parks, could we see a new dark ride for Cedar Point?
Yeah, I mean,
it has been a huge ask for many years.
Exactly.
No disaster transport, no boo blasters like Kings Island, nothing. Pirate ride, gone.
Yeah, I mean, they got tons of new Intamin rides out there, like the Motion Table ride and the Dome Sphere, which is pretty cool in of itself, the 5D ride. Like you said earlier, the IPs, I know that they, Warner and whatnot, has the Scooby-Doo IP, so they could, just knock, bring that back to the parks. I'm
hint,
just saying, guys. And it's also a family-based attraction, so again, for all the family people out there, parks need to build for families bring in the most money. These are family-based attractions, so I think, again, we're knocking out some big needs for the park.
And, that motion theater is amazing as well.
Intamin knocked it out of the park with their new flat rides. Even the Ferris wheels are kind of cool. Not that I want to, say they need a new Ferris wheel at Cedar Point, but if they did, go with the Intamin, please, because those things look awesome.
I know. Crazy.
But these 5D sphere rides look even more incredible. I mean, just watching the animated point of views of them that Intamin put out right before IAPA there.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take over your segment there, but
absolutely not.
This ride is insane. I mean, look at the whole tilt. It's like 1,000 riders per hour or something crazy like that. 1,200, I forget what it said, but it's a lot of riders per hour, over 1,000.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, I think this is one that I brought up last year, and there was another one that Intamin made that I really, really liked last year that I'm really hoping to see. They're building them over in Dubai.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they bring a dark ride to Cedar Point. Now, moving on to the experimental coasters or the groundbreaking coasters that Cedar Point used to be known for.
So many have said that Cedar Point used to be the innovative park, the first to go big, and in recent years it seems they've become the safe, tried and tested park, only getting models after a decent record and understanding what you are going to get. This leads to the flying coaster models and the extreme spinners.
Ooh.
Will CP continue to push boundaries in the future, or will they wait until models are tried and tested?
Yeah, that's an interesting one here because, I mean, the extreme spinners are rising in popularity. Everyone is starting to really talk about the extreme spinners a lot of the time.
Right.
There's a few in the States. There's one in the States, I'm sorry. There's one in the States and one out of the States specifically that people talk about.
Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City is wildly popular and is said to be a must-ride attraction with rave reviews as well as Pursuit of Happiness being a raved-about coaster by enthusiasts who've traveled out of the States.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I think we should go ride one of these days if we ever get the chance. It's a new experience that there's nothing like it really nearby in general. It would be something, that people get to once in a lifetime. Now, moving on to the flying coasters, I don't really want to see the B&Ms too much.
Vekoma.
Yeah, go with a Vekoma, fly over a Phantasialand. I mean, there's only 1 or 2 point of views out there. That ride looks phenomenal.
Absolutely
Their boarding system,
amazing.
They looks like they got it locked up. So a Vekoma flyer at Cedar Point or a Mach Extreme Spinner, if they wanted to. Personally, I don't see this happening at all, just to be very clear. I think if anybody gets one of these models, it's going to be Kings Island much before Cedar Point does. But this leads us into the more fun ones, the honorable mentions. With arrows like Magnum and the old looping models like Corkscrew becoming aged, I mean, Magnum is 30 plus years old. A lot of people have said we could see a new looping model or a hyper model that's a people eater in the park, a new age one. A lot of people have pointed towards B&M for a hyper coaster at the park or another Giga. I've heard that a lot, and people either say, well, that makes no sense, or they're fully on board. There's really no in between. I've heard the Gerstlauers for the looping coasters as well, which would be really cool.
I'd actually like to see another hyper.
Yeah, I would too. But as far as the Gerstlauers go, I don't see it capacity-wise. And hypers, I get it. B&M makes some really good hyper coasters. I do, but like Mach is making some cool ones now.
That's true.
Intamin with Hyperion, there's some really cool ones out there. And don't get me wrong, again, going back to the looping models that they say if they ever remove corkscrew, build a Gerstlauer, like, I haven't heard great things about Eurofighters other than these lighting packages.
Yeah, the lighting packages are amazing on them.
And I've heard hang time is pretty cool, but aside from that, I haven't heard many great things about all of them, so it's just kind of one of those things. But a people eater at Cedar Point would do wonders for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously, you know, new age, more airtime capacity, smoothness, the old versus new. There's a lot of ways you could run with that one.
Absolutely.
But there is one major hole at Cedar Point that has yet to be filled and has been missing for quite some time. The good old wooden
Woodies.
coasters. Yeah, so Cedar Point had Cyclone notoriously, Switchback Railway, Mean Streak. They still have Blue Streak at the park. Mean Streak was a din wooden coaster. Wasn't that great. A lot of people didn't love it. I love Blue Streak still.
I remember when it opened, though. It was a hit.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you were there a few years after Blue Streak opened, probably 15 years or so after. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, I mean, you were probably 6, 7, 8 when you rode it the first time. Whew. But
6?
yeah, okay, so yeah, about 15 years after. But yeah, going on to that, like, there's a need for a modern wooden coaster at Cedar Point, an airtime machine, and something that isn't like necessarily a PTC. A lot of people say GCIs.
Yes.
One of your favorite rides at Kings Island is
A GCI.
Mystic
I love
Timbers.
Mystic Timbers.
Yeah, she loves the night rides on it. Can't get enough of it. I've heard Prowler, you know, small but mighty coasters that Cedar Point could use. And I understand it. Trust me, I do. They're crowd pleasers as well.
Right. But we could also go with Gravity Group. I mean,
we could, but as far as
pretty
GCI,
good.
there's also more to them. They have Titan tracks. They have the high.
Smooth.
Yeah, they got tons of different things they could do with them. And they're just great rides in general. A lot of people love the GCIs. Gravity Group kind of gets a lot of hate here and there. GCI has these unique creative layouts.
They do.
My only knock is they're small and compact. I'd like to see something bigger. Just a little bigger, especially for Cedar Point, especially with all the retracking going on at Kings Island with the Beast and Grizzly at King's Dominion getting a retrack from Gravity Group with this new, the way they retrack it, they got a new tracking system. They went over it with King's Dominion at the time, but they basically lay them the opposite way, so they're stronger and they last longer, which is really cool. I think Gravity Group should get the test because one of the notorious problems for Cedar Point, even with Steel Vengeance, is carpenters.
True.
Carpenters at Cedar Point. So with these ones, you could build a steel structure and then wooden track. And you have the option to do something with the Gravity Group ones like inversions and stuff, like Mind Blower down there at Fun Spot Kissimmee. I mean, there's just differences in those trains. I mean, those trains are phenomenal. They had them on Kentucky Flyer at Kentucky Kingdom. Those trains are amazing. So I would freaking love those at Cedar Point. Plus, like, you know, 145 to 160 foot tall coaster. That's what I'm looking for in a Woody. I think that'd be awesome. An airtime machine just like the Voyage.
Another good coaster to graduate your kids from, you know,
straight
small,
up into the first thrill.
big.
Yeah, exactly. The wooden coaster, thrill coaster that Cedar Point desperately needs at the park.
Yes.
Now, personally, I would love a night ride on, you know, Forbidden Frontier Adventure Island.
That'd be incredible.
There's other places where they could build a wooden coaster, and I'm completely fine. But if they go with the island one, please just do Gravity Group so we can get a cool kind of to the terrain near the creek, airtime machine, something unique. They're local based in Cincinnati. I mean, it just checks a bunch of boxes.
It could be an incredible night ride back there.
And it differentiates enough from Mystic Timbers because I'm sure they've had that discussion like, well, what are we going to do, build Mystic Timbers too? Like, obviously a lot of people would be happy, but from a business standpoint, I just don't see them doing that.
Right.
So it'd be cool if they went with the Gravity Group. Let us know what you guys think about all of this. Obviously, there is tons of different options that you could go with. What do you guys think are the biggest holes at Cedar Point in their lineup? What would you like to see them fill holes with?
What kind of flats do you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lack of flats per se at the park. I would love to see Power Tower get removed for a new drop tower with the S&S ones. That'd be sweet.
That'd be
but
awesome.
I don't know, guys. Let us know. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Consider becoming a member like CP Coaster Lover and the other members. It's awesome of you guys. Thank you so much. And, as always,
thank you for being a part of this spooky community and for Coaster Ghosting with Ghoster Coasters.
Have a Six Flags day, everybody.
At America's Rock and Roller Coast.
Woo-hoo!